Woo! Last section of chapter 5. Did you see it? It's going to be fun. The fundamental theorem of algebra. So basically putting everything in chapter 5 into one thing. Why do we learn all the stuff that we have learned? Well, the reason is why. So if we have very complex, and then these complex situations will come up. When will I ever need to use this, Ms. Frickman? Well, you need it in this class. You also need to use this to help your brain function. It's basically when you do math, it's exercising your brain, just like how in FIED you exercise by running or lifting. You're using that muscle. Your brain acts like a muscle, so you are lifting your brain, I like to say. But this comes up in physics. So how do we do this? It's going to be fun, remember? First thing we do is get to our graphing calculator. You go to your y equals. If there's anything there, clear it out. You type in this equation. Use this button for the x value, raised to the 5th power. You have to make sure to arrow over, subtract, x raised to the 4th, arrow over, minus 3x raised to the, oh my gosh, I didn't put the x there. I can go to second, delete to go to insert, and then x. And then plus 3x squared, arrow over plus 3x squared, minus 4x, plus 4. So sometimes I just make sure, oh, look at that lighting. Make sure that you have it correctly. One thing I'm going to show you, because sometimes people are like, it's not working for me. Look at what that line looks like now. And look how it looks different. A lot of times people make the mistake of putting a negative, type this, instead of a subtraction right there. So if your calculator doesn't work, you should check that. Now we're going to go to the table. So second, graph to get to table. So basically it gives us all the different numbers that if you were to plug in for x over here on the left-hand side, this is what you would get out. What we use this tables for is to try to find out where x crosses, or the graph crosses the x-axis. So right here, crosses the x-axis. So I have x equals 2, so I'm going to write that down. X equals -2. So just like how we have solved before, this whole chapter, now we can use our calculator to help us solve also. 1. However, just to let you know, if it says solve by factoring, you got to make sure to try to factor. 2. We have 3 zeros there. Keep on going. I always look in between 10 and -10 because we really shouldn't have any other zeros besides that. Now that we have that, I look at my degree. I actually should have 5 different answers, but it's only showing me 3. That means I have to figure out what to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to synthetically divide these zeros out. We already have the 0 by itself, so I already have the option of what's in the box. So -2 first. I'm going to first divide that fraction out. So 1 for the x to the 5th, -1 to x to the 4th, -3 for x squared, 3 x cubed, 3 for x squared, -4 for x, and 4 for my number. The first number gets brought down. So this is reviewing from the 5.4. Multiply with your box, add up and down, multiply with your box, add up and down, multiply with your box, add up and down, multiply, add, multiply, add. One thing that should always happen, this should become 0 because the calculator already for sure told us that this is a factor. Since this is a factor, this should become 0. So now I'm going to divide out my next 0 at 1. So I'm going to put 1 in this box. And I'm going to divide that out. So bring down the 1. 1 times 1, 1. Add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Good, that's good. So we divided out 2 of our zeros. So this is a long one. We got to divide out another one. 2. Put it in the box. Put it in the box. Bring down the 1. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. Yay, tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row, I would win. Okay, so now what do we have here? We started with x to the 5th. That's what we had. And then we divided out a degree. So this one was x to the fourth. And then we divided out another degree. So this was x cubed. And then we divide out another degree. So what we are left here is this first term is x squared. This would be my x. So I divided it out and I got x squared plus 1 equals 0. Now at this point, for the remember, fundamental theorem, you would either be able to solve like we can here, or else you might have to use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to solve for this. I'm going to subtract my 1 on both sides. Take the square root. So my final answer would be x equals -2, 1, 2 from my calculator. And then I have a positive I, because the square root of -1 is I. And remember, when you take that square root, you have two answers, always two answers. And I have a negative I. So if you start with a degree of 5, typically you should have 5 different answers. And that was fun. That was so much fun. You can try to pause the video and do this next one by yourself if you want, or else stick with me. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move these over. So I have x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 10x equals 0. So first thing I notice right here is that each of these have an x that I can take out. So I take out my x of x cubed plus 2x squared minus 13x plus 10. I should know that I'm going to just solve that for my answer. I'm going to write that because that equals 0. Remember from solving. Now this is what I can put into my calculator. So MIY equals, clear that out, x raised to the third, 2x squared minus 13x plus 10. Second graph to get to your table. Again, I always look between -10 and +10. Something's not right here. Did I type it in right? Oh, look, I didn't type it in right. And it's a live video. That's okay. You guys are amazing. So plus, I forgot the plus right there. So if that ever happened to you, go make sure you typed it in right, just like I did. So we have -5. X equals -5. We also have 1. We also have 2. And we found that other 0. So some of you might be noticing what I'm about to say here. We can synthetically divide this out for sure. However, look it. We already have found the 0 from the beginning. The calculator gave us 3 zeros. That's a total of 4. We should only have 4 zeros. So this right here is my final answer. I don't have to go any further. I do not have to go any further on that one. So next one, finding the zeros here. We're only going to do this one for the video. So we're going into my calculator. Woo! X raised to the fourth plus x raised to the third minus 7x squared minus 9x minus 18. Second graph to get to the table. So we have zeros at -3 right there. So I'm going to write that down. X equals -3. And at 3. And that's all we got. That's all she wrote. Synthetically divide those out. In the box is -3. 1 for x to the fourth, 1 for x cubed, -7x squared, -9x, -18. Bring down the 1. 1 times -3. Add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Hoofda, good thing. Divide out the next 3. Bring down the 1. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So what do we have here? This was x to the fourth. We divided out this x. This next one was x cubed. We divided out an x. This was x squared. So what we have left is x squared plus x plus 2. Now, because the calculator did not give us any other options, I know that right now at this point, because I can't solve it like the other one, I'm going to have to use my quadratic formula. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, C is equal to 2. So I'm going to have opposite B, plus or minus the square root. B squared minus 4, A, C, all over 2A. So first thing I should do, so if I can't get out of there, you go second mode to quit. Second mode. And then I do 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2. You can do that in your head too. You get negative 7. Square root negative 7 over 2. So my answer here would be x equals negative 3 and 3 from the calculator. Then be negative 1 plus I, because this is negative, square root 7 over 2, and negative 1 minus I, square root 7 over 2. And that right there are my final answers. And that's where we're going to stop, because we're for sure going to do this one in class together. Have a wonderful day.